Imagine you can read a book in 1 day or 2 and memorize and take the most out of it. Is this possible? Do you think doctors like us spend years just reading a couple of books per year? We read weekly tons of books and articles. There's a way how to do it properly, scientifically proven, and you're not doing it, you're missing on it. I'm a doctor, and during my medical training, I learned how to do this method, and I still use it till now. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to do it, and you can apply it immediately. The first step is you have to be mindful. This is extremely important. What do I mean by being mindful? You cannot read passively because this is completely wasting your time. You know that sometimes you can be reading mechanically. The mechanism of reading is there, but you're not mindful about what you are reading. You're not thinking enough or deeply in your brain about what information you're getting, and in that way you're wasting your time. This is why you're not retaining anything. Why this was very important during my medical training, because I don't have the luxury to be doing this. I must be absorbing the information. I must be getting the most out of it. If I allocated 45 minutes or 1 hour to this chapter, for example, I have to be extremely attentive. So this shifts my brain. It puts me in a different mindset because I know that I might not be reviewing this material anymore. I have to retain everything now. Just do it. This is scientifically proven because it forces your brain to create stronger neuron connections. And these connections equals more memory. Trust me, you can try it right now. Read a text, just passively. You might retain only 10 to 15% of it. But if you force yourself to retain a lot of information from it, to absorb every single detail, you will feel that you're reading extremely actively. You get the point. Don't worry, you can do it. I will teach you how to do it. At first, it might be a bit difficult and it will give you the opposite effect. It will make you a bit slower. But what you have to do is to train your brain, just like another muscle. Start at first with small text. Every day, allocate 5 to 10 minutes, no more, to do this exercise. To read once or twice a text and try to retain the most out of it. And then increase daily the amount of time and the length of the text. Okay, so trick number 2 that you have to do just to read faster, not only to retain more, is to read without your internal monologue. I know this might sound absurd. We all read, even silently, in our own voice in our head. Well, what if I told you there is another way? Your brain is faster than your eyes, which means you can be skimming through the text and then your brain will understand what it has been scanned. You can be visualizing the lines very quickly without looking at each word at a time and without interpreting it in your brain. Then after some lines, your brain is gonna make sense of everything that you have just scanned. Yes, trust me, it does work. This is something that we actually do. I know this might sound like as if you're taking your brain to the extreme, you're stretching it. You're forcing your brain to comprehend everything very quickly without even giving it enough time to read it. Well, yeah, you have a beautiful brain and very powerful. Use it. And again, this is also another skill that you can train and acquire. Some people also like to track with a pencil or their finger along the lines. Trick number 3, and this is extremely important in my opinion, is to go to the active phase. What do I mean by that? You have to do something at the end of every text or couple of pages. You have and must ask yourself to summarize everything that you have just read in 1 or 2 sentences. And more than that, if you can, write 1 question or 2 about what you have just read. This is essential for you to retain the information for longer period of time. And in case you want to review, I usually like to write the question that I have invented about this chapter or this page, and then I try to actively think what's the answer. Then I look into the text and see if I answered correctly or not. And then this is extremely important to write the complete answer in the opposite section. I'm imagining a piece of paper here. And this is important for all the people who like to review the information in a later stage. So in that way, you can quiz yourself from these questions that you have just invented. This is an active phase of thinking. You use your brain in an active way, not only a passive way. You're not only receiving, but you are creating. And this definitely solidifies all the information. And if you are reading a non-fiction book, but not necessarily a medical book or something in your career, this is extremely helpful because you don't have to read all the book again if you need 1 or 2 pieces of information. A fourth trick, and this is especially helpful if you're studying, not simply reading books, but you are actively studying for an exam or for a material. You have to put this new piece of information in context to something you already know. You link it to an old memory that's already there, established. For example, if I'm learning about certain bacteria, let's say classification about gram-positive bacteria, they have a specific shape. So I try to compare it to another bacteria that I already know, that I already memorized well. So I can say, oh, so the strep pneumonia is different from the staph aureus in that way, for example. So I'm comparing it and I'm linking it to something that's already there in my brain, solid. And now a fifth tip, or a bonus tip I wanna add, is to read something that you are interested in. Since you are interested or in need of this knowledge, your brain is gonna capture it much easier. I know this might sound obvious, but I've seen many people read just, I don't know, to brag or to say that I'm reading certain books. You don't have to like the same books that everybody's reading, or even if they like them. Personally, I didn't like this book by Robert Greene, The 48 Laws of Power. In fact, I felt it's evil. I hated this book and it had so many negative nuances. So I don't have to do it, and neither do you. And if your problem is that you cannot concentrate because you are always tired, this video will help you.